Thanks for tuning in. A year ago, yeah, a whole year, bought this buggy. It's a project. There's like a Beetle drivetrain, Volkswagen drivetrain in it. And I got two videos up on this if you want to refer back to them. I'll link them in the description. One's a walk around, and the other one is a tear down of the Transaxle. Do see that one, because that'll be the segue into this video. My little helpers in that video haven't been around for a while. We ran into a situation with some water and a decrepit transmission, so I ended up having to find another one. And then on that note, let's move into the storyline where that takes us now. Alright, we got a problem here. I couldn't get the shift. I pulled the nose cone off the transmission. Maybe you were driving it. Holes for the detent. Interesting phenomenon. All the steel components are in excellent shape. Bearings feel good. Reverse linkage wasn't too wore out. I think there's something we can work with here for this buggy, so I think this thing will come around with a little bit of TLC. And this has got the corrosion in there too, so I'm going to try and get the gear train out of this here housing, and I'll clean this thing up and then basically wash down everything and a quick inspection, put it back together. So the only thing is, I don't know if I want to go hammering bearings out, but maybe I can figure out a way to seal them up to keep the sand, using like a coal slag and as a media, and protect the bearings. Pull this reverse shaft out, and that feels wonderful. It feels good. So protect the bearings, blast this thing out, really flush this out well, and reinstall the transmission back in this case, put it back together. One part of the process I may show you. Support the housing in a way where you're not catching a shift fork, and it allows free removal without damaging anything. Gears removed from the carrier. Okay, the gears removed, and what we'll do is a before and after here for you. Looks a little cleaner. So it doesn't look so bad anymore. I had protected the bearings. Hopefully no grit got in those. I'll have to clean everything really good. And the problem with this one is, this is an early 6-volt transaxle and intended to go on a smaller flywheel. This engine I'm going to use that I have no idea if it runs yet. It's supposed to be good, but it's been laying around. We had secured this within the last year as well. So yeah, 12-volt era. This is a bigger flywheel, intended to go in bell housing such as this, but we have this 6-volt era, and a little bit of clearancing has to be done. We're going to grind these down. I think you may have to do a little here, up in the top, and maybe in the starter bushing area. Be careful. I think this stuff burns. We're gonna try that too. Grinding the 4 lumps and get this to fit almost all the way. And the minute you start snugging the hardware, the engine stops turning. I just put a ratchet on the pulley ball over here and turn it. You can hear it, the flywheel teeth digging into the magnesium over here, and so maybe we'll use that as a way to mark it. Pull it back off, get that last 1/8 inch. Okay, that lump, and in the top, that lump, ground off initially. But look behind that, you see that silver line all the way deep in? Okay, I guess we need the clearance a little bit in there. That's in the top. I think there's a little bit in the one side just beneath the starter hole. And in the bottom, very bottom back from the edge. Alright. It's like 3 or 4 times on and off, little by little. Turn the crank of the engine, make a mark, go after it with the grinder, and we have it mated and the engine turns. We're good. One last thing, you see the clearance. And there, when you're using a 12-volt starter in a case that's designed for 6-volt, that hole, there's a bushing that goes in there. It's knocked out currently, but that hole, you got to buy an adapter bushing to put the 12-volt starter into the 6-volt case. A little bit bottom center, and a whole lot, not real deep, but a whole lot around the top, all the way over toward the starter area. This case, we're going to sacrifice the transmission section. It's going to get cut off. And we're going to make a shift fork adjustment jig. What we do is cut it right across here, and then cut an opening in the side where the adjustments are, and then make it basically a bench vise fixture out of it, where you can then slide your transmission section in, put a couple of nuts on, and that will support everything where it needs to be, and then you can run your adjustments and rotate the gear train at the same time. And that way you can throw your gear train into the case you're going to use, and you should have no problem. Saving magnesium shavings for fun later. Pure science experiment. We'll start with that opening. This magnesium cuts really well with just a jigsaw with a medium tooth blade. Back in here, we'll have to open this up so this is a slip fit. You might do that with a Dremel with a sanding drum on it. That way the carrier drops right in. Okay, we have a window cut in this. We can get to our adjustments. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. So that should work. And you can take an old reverse gear, put it on the input shaft, maybe weld a little handle on, then you can crank the input shaft around. And this is how you properly set up and adjust the Volkswagen transmission section. So we had to cannibalize this case. It was painful. I had a few issues, but hopefully I don't end up needing it. Working on this Volkswagen air-cooled vintage transmission here, and this is for your typical old Beetle. And I've noticed these holes here. There's one underneath, and they're supposed to look like that. Again, this one underneath, a little hard to see, a little corroded, but anyway, I could not find information on it a year ago, and then somebody did recently post some information on this, and I will put his information, another YouTuber. Check this guy out for his video. Regardless, in the meantime, I did find what I needed to take care of these holes. And I ended up getting them from Weddell Industries. So bang those plugs in, and these are for the shift rail detent and springs. And in manufacturing, you drill that hole which goes across all the shift rails. If you're rebuilding a transmission and you don't have to thoroughly clean or get those springs out, you don't need to pull the plugs out. You could still get the shift rails out. You'll need a special tool. Maybe you can make something out of a round stock and just carve it so it will push the ball in, and then follow that through with your shift rail for reinstallation. In this case, these are already out, so I was able to reinstall the shift rails by pushing the detent bowl down with a small punch, and then following it through with the shift rail at the same time. base. Kit comes with 2 gaskets. Not sure if I'm supposed to put 1 or 2 on. The other side I did 1. This side I did 2. Based upon another YouTuber, he does 2. More of these. Having a little issue with the new release bearing. This is the old style. Mainly the clips. They don't go in very far as compared with the original one. They go in much further. That hook has got to go over the arm on a release lever. See how far that goes in? Not as far. So it appears the hole's not drilled as deep, but the way this is manufactured, there's some sort of a swage or maybe in a weld way on the inside here that the old style does not have. You can see this clip goes way in, comes into that airspace. So difficulty came up when trying to install this because this little hook part is not far enough in. So I think I may cut a little bit off the end of this clip so that this will go in far enough. Drilling this deeper is not an option. I don't believe so anyway, because of the way this is manufactured with that suede or welded connection for this round piece to the main body. Drilling that may weaken that and create a failure. So I think cutting the clip is the answer. I looked into possibly getting different clips and corresponded with a retailer, and it's just the way it seems it is. So he liked my idea of trying to trim this, so we'll go that way. So trimming the clips about an 1/8 inch off the tip of the factory or original style clip. And I don't know what the aftermarket ones are going to be like. I bought this bearing without clips because I thought I had good clips, but maybe the ones that come with the bearing are better. Anyway, I was able to trim the clips. They go in further. I squeezed the clips because when I first put them on they were loose. I just gave them a little squeeze. They're nice and snug. I'm kind of happy with them. And then a little trick if you're installing one of these, just a little piece of wood behind it, and then that'll hold it out to where you can work. And needle nose pliers, and you just steer them into the notch in the back. A pair of vice grips on the clutch cable attachment point makes moving this easier. And I think we're in good shape. Nice shiny new wheel cylinder. Some new hardware. Old shoes. I'm sure your shoes are going to look nicer than mine. But that's not what we have to look at. I just became aware this adjuster slot. The slot is cut on an angle. Not as deep on this side, but deeper on this side. So to me, the deeper side goes up because when the shoe sits in there, it's going to be making full contact. Just take a look at that when you're doing it. Something to look out for. Oils. Such a wild topic in some cases. We've got a GL4 gear oil, and this one specifically states good for use in synchronized manual transmissions, and it protects yellow metals. So this is what we're going to use. I hope I'm making the right move. Safe for all yellow metals. Protects internal synchronizers. So apparently, if you just go in and grab a GL5 off the shelf in the auto parts store, it actually says not for use in synchronous transmissions if you look close enough. So be aware. I don't know if I'm making a right decision, but I feel better about using this one than anything else. This thing is ready to go. I guess we'll end here. Hope you enjoyed this journey. Thanks for watching.